Look, Harry and Meghan on the other side, not too many fans of Harry and Meghan, particularly after their recent tour to Australia. It's now raised questions around the taxpayer funded security for them. Concerns have been raised that if Prince Harry wins back the right to taxpayer funded security for him and his family, that Meghan might use these visits to the UK to generate income, because that is certainly what she was doing here in Australia.
Because this isn't just about outfits and affiliate links. This is about taxpayer money, royal security, and a very calculated strategy that some insiders believe has been in motion for years. Stay with us, because before this video is over, you're going to understand exactly what the palace is quietly watching and why Harry's upcoming UK visit could be the moment everything changes. Let's go back to the beginning. Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties in 2020. They called it freedom. The palace called it a crisis. The British public called it a divorce. And ever since, the question of who pays for their security has never been fully resolved. As non-working royals, they are no longer entitled to taxpayer-funded police protection in the UK. Harry has fought this in court multiple times. He has argued that his family's safety is at risk without it. And honestly, most people understood that argument. The threats against him are real. The concerns about Archie and Lilibet are legitimate. But here's where it gets complicated. Harry is due back in the UK ahead of the Invictus Games, a trip that could require significant security arrangements. And sources close to the ongoing legal review are saying the case is still wide open. No final decision has been made, which means right now, nobody officially knows who is footing that bill. And that is exactly the window that critics say Meghan is exploiting. Because during the Australia trip, something very specific was happening in plain sight. Every outfit Meghan wore, every event she attended, some of them charitable, some of them curated celebrity moments with popular YouTubers, was being quietly catalogued. You could go to her website, click on her dress, and for several $1,000s, you could own it.
Every little clip that you used to have of her, you could now go to a website and you can order sort of one off, it's called. Well, like bog off is probably what people are going to say, because she basically converted sometimes charity events and so on and so forth. You would have a look at the dress, and I was looking at this website. You can basically click on everything, and for several $1,000s you can get such and such a dress she wore at such and such an outfit. And they're raising questions. You'll recall, obviously, that security has been one of the key things that Harry's very concerned about, and rightly concerned about. But the question is, who finances it? And as they're no longer working royals, the point was that they have to finance it themselves. And there was all sorts of court actions over here. It's currently being reviewed at the moment, because obviously he's due to come here a year ahead of the Invictus Games, that brilliant initiative, which I always sing the praises about. But he's very worried about security, for not just for Meghan, but also if he's going to bring his two children as well. And obviously Archie's celebrating his 7th birthday this very day, so he's worried about him as well. The reality is this, is that when they turn around and say, well, if you're a working royal, you can't be half in, half out, as Her late Majesty the Queen Elizabeth used to say. You have to be sort of totally dedicated. So if you're doing a mixture of both these sort of charitable works and various other things, then it does raise questions. But certainly that Australian quip, if you like, and that trip that they made, and every single time that you click on her outfit, you could buy that. It does raise those questions.
Charity event, shopping opportunity, same moment, same footage. Now let's be clear, there is nothing technically illegal about a celebrity monetizing their public image, but the optics here are raising serious questions. Because if Harry wins back taxpayer-funded security, every future UK visit becomes potentially a brand activation. Every walkabout, every public appearance, every handshake at a gala, who is really paying for that access? And there's something else nobody is talking about loudly enough. The vow renewal moment. While in Australia, Meghan was gifted a pair of Aussie swim shorts, the kind famously worn at the beach, and made a very public, very playful joke that she would get Harry to renew their vows in them. The crowd loved it. The cameras loved it. The clips went everywhere. Their wedding anniversary is the 19th of May, 2018, coming up very soon. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe this is exactly the kind of carefully timed, emotionally resonant content that keeps the Sussex brand at the center of the global conversation, right when the security review is most sensitive. Think about that.
And Andrew, Meghan Markle's also teased a vow renewal with Prince Harry in a kind of playful moment while she was here. What can you tell us about this? Is she serious?
Oh, well, it was hilarious. Then what happens is she was given various gifts by these YouTubers, and one of those gifts included those budgie smugglers, the Aussie bum, where you sort of work on the premise that she said, well, I'll get Prince Harry to renew the vows in those, and they got married on the 19th of May 2018. So another big anniversary coming up. As I say, we've got all sorts of things with Archie's birthday today. We had Her Late Majesty the Queen would have been 100 just a few days ago. And we've got all those sort of big celebrations. So yes, it was a playful moment. It's been a good week for right royal revelries, I would say.
Meanwhile, back inside the palace walls, a completely different chapter of the royal story is unfolding. Princess Eugenie has announced she is pregnant with her third child.
And some big news, Princess Eugenie has revealed that she's pregnant with her third child. Now, the royal usually keeps a pretty low profile on social media, but she, of course, announced the very happy news on Instagram. And also, interesting, Buckingham Palace made an announcement on this too on social media, which, you know, many would say this is a show of support for Eugenie despite the trouble surrounding her father.
Now, Eugenie has spent years quietly existing in the shadow of her father's catastrophic downfall. Prince Andrew, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, the BBC interview that ended his public life, the removal of his military titles, the humiliation of his entire family. Eugenie and her sister Beatrice have been collateral damage in one of the most damaging royal scandals in modern history. But here is what the palace just did. And it was deliberate. Rather than issuing a bland statement announcing Eugenie would keep her royal title despite Andrew's disgrace, they let the pregnancy announcement do the talking. The official Buckingham Palace post referred to her as Her Royal Highness Princess Eugenie. Full title, no asterisk, no qualification. That was the signal. That was the answer to months of speculation about whether the York sisters would be stripped of their status. King Charles just made a decision. He just chose not to punish the daughters for the sins of the father, and he did it in a way that generated warmth instead of controversy. That is not an accident. That is masterclass level PR.
The king has made a pretty big decision. He's apparently decided that the York sisters will not lose their royal titles and that they are part of the royal family despite all the drama with Andrew, with Fergie. What's your take on this, Andrew?
Well, it's a great take. And the way that we knew this is rather than announcing, saying, well, they're going to keep their royal titles, they did it very specially. So this wonderful news of this pregnancy, the palace announcement read, the Royal Highness, Princess Eugenie and Mr. Jack Brooksbank are very pleased to announce that they are expecting their third child together due this summer. So they used her title, the royal title, Her Royal Highness Princess Eugenie. And that's great news because a lot of people were speculating, well, if Andrew's lost his and Fergie's lost hers, is that going to have a knock-on effect for the children? Well, here's a very resounding endorsement of those two unfortunate girls on that sort of basis. And you remember the humiliation that they suffered with the revelations when Fergie said, oh, she's been out on a weekend shagging and so on and so forth, and all the various other things. They've just been humiliated for a long time. So
Eugenie's baby will be 15th in line to the throne. The line of succession continues to expand, shift, and quietly evolve, even as the scandals refuse to go away. And then there is William and Catherine. 15 years of marriage, a photograph in the grass, 3 children, a dog named Otto, smiling, calm, stable. Everything the Sussex chapter currently is not. William and Catherine represent something the modern monarchy desperately needs right now. Continuity without controversy. And every time Harry and Meghan generate headlines about security costs and monetized charity trips, William and Catherine post a quiet family photograph and let the contrast do the work.
Oh, William and Catherine, they've shared a photograph to mark their 15th wedding anniversary. 15 years, would you believe it?
It's flown by, hasn't it? 2011 Westminster Abbey. It's glorious. And it's a lovely family portrait. They're marking their 15 years of marriage, as you say. As you see them, it's a great photo. Do check it out on Sky News Australia's website. They've been seen lying in the grass. They're smiling with their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. And their dog, which we know is called Otto. You might remember that great reveal that William did when he arrived in that scooter with Eugene Levy when he did that brilliant interview. He talked about Otto and how they go walking and everything. He is brilliant. So the next generation in these troubled times when the royals have been going through sort of seismic changes with all of these scandals and being marred in that tsunami of scandal. It is great to see such positive news and all these stories for the royals this week, with the wonderful king of comedy, Charles, all the way through to the Princess Eugenie and the confirmation of that, and the wonderful news with William posting about this anniversary. Really positive stuff this week, and boy, do we need it.
Some people call that dignity, others call it strategy. The truth is probably both, so here is where we are. Harry's security case is unresolved. The Australian trip has raised questions that have not been answered. Meghan's brand operation is growing. Eugenie is expecting. The York titles are safe. William and Catherine are celebrating 15 years, but one thread is still dangling. If Harry wins back state-funded protection, and that review is still ongoing, what exactly does that protection enable? Who benefits from access it creates? And who, in the end, is really paying for the Sussex lifestyle? Nobody in that courtroom has answered that question yet. Is it acceptable for a royal to leave the institution, publicly criticize it, monetize the access it provides, and then ask the taxpayer to keep funding the infrastructure that makes all of it possible? Drop your answer below. The comments on this one are going to be explosive. If you want more royal exposés, industry cover-ups, and the stories the mainstream media glosses over, subscribe to Viral Spills right now. We are just getting started.